Hello, beautiful Virgo. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you had a good celebrations and good start to the new year. My name is Iwona Rose, and welcome to my channel, Rose Healing Light. This will be a reading with spiritual guidance for the month of January 2023 for the sign of Virgo, and this will be good for you if Virgo is your sun sign, your moon, your ascendant sign, also your Venus sign. And you can also watch it for cross-watching if this is what you wish to do. It may work as well. And also perhaps for any placements where you have Virgo in your chart. Also, by the end of the reading, or at the end of the reading, I'm also going to draw two cards specifically for the year 2023. So something like a message, or like a short message for, or a theme even for the whole 2023 for you, Virgos. And I've also, so just one last thing to let you know, I've already asked. Sorry, I work with angels and archangels when I do the readings, and I've already asked Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron to be with us and to just send us blessings and protection so that we have a great experience here on the video. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the card with a theme for the month of January for you, Virgo. You've got the Observer card. It's actually number 49. It comes down to, yeah, number 4 again. Number 4 keeps coming up actually in January. Number 4, it's a number for about, I feel like it's about foundations, right, and an aspect of stability. But Observer, just coming back to your main theme, Observer, you are being probably asked, or what will be good for you is just to step back in the month of January and become the observer, become the witness. Try to detach yourself a little bit from whatever, let's say, whatever is going on that you perhaps don't understand, or it's not necessarily maybe very, very helpful or very useful. So I feel that if you, let's say, become the observer, or if you kind of put yourself in this position and remember to just take time, perhaps also to meditate, so to do some practice to help you a little bit withdraw and find some distance. And it can be towards anything, right? Towards a relationship or towards a situation. It will bring you it will bring you perhaps some guidance, right? And it will bring you a better perspective and a better clarity of mind. So yeah, just become the witness and observe. And let's start. So this is, it feels very, this is, so let's start with the present, kind of present moment card. Present position, which is Two of Michael, which is the traditional Two of Swords. And this comes actually with two other cards, your clarifiers, and one is also the indecision card, which actually, let me just show you this one. Indecision, which is actually very similar to the Two of Swords, but I will speak to that in a moment, and also with the Door to Value. So let me just talk about all of them. I think with the first thing that comes with the Two of Michael, it feels like there is an aspect of inability to make decisions during January, right? That's the reading is for the January, so it's quite a short period of time. It's very possible because in the past position you do have Eight of Michael, and this is usually an aspect of like being a little bit restricted or constrained or entangled into like a situation that you can't come out of. But what I'm feeling is also that because of some process that has been going on in the past for you, perhaps also process of healing that you have been going through, perhaps your process of, it comes like a process of resurrection, but process of ascension, so process of, let's say, healing and transformation. And I feel like in January you may not be sure which way to go, right? So it might not be even the best time to make decisions, or at least perhaps the bigger or more important decisions in life. And I think with those two cards, so this card, sorry, the first card, the indecision, this confirms also, it's almost the same card as this one. It's just that this is an oracle deck, energy oracle. It also feels like you may be at a crossroads. So this is, I feel like, energetically in the month of January in your life, and it can relate, for example, to any to any aspect, like for example area like a relationship or perhaps a business or a career. So it can be a little bit bigger, right? But it feels like you are at the crossroads, but yet again you're not sure which way to go, or it may not be the time. I think the message is it may not really be the time yet to move to the right direction, right? So it feels like you may have been thinking about something, and you may have been thinking about this new direction, this new process, this decision for a while, but for some reason maybe you had to go through, so with the past card, through some blocks in the past, through a healing process, through some aspect of like a detour even, right, to go and, let's say, sort something out before you come back, let's say, to your true path. Yeah, and it just does feel like that. I think the January in general, it may be like you may feel like either you are still blocked, or you may feel like you need to resolve, or I'm feeling like resolve something within yourself also, or some blockage and some aspect of a hurdle maybe on the outside as well. So both, before actually you take the decision, or before even you move forward. And it does all relate, so those two cards, and they both relate to so this is a door to value card. So it relates to perhaps you reevaluating. So you have as a theme, you've got your observer card, right? And this also, so it's perhaps like withdrawing, taking a distance, and taking a new perspective on something. So it probably will be good for you to reevaluate and assess and understand the aspect of your own values perhaps, and what you value the most at the moment. And this probably does relate to this decision, right? And if the decision is, it may be financial, it may be career changes, right? It may be any, like even relationship changes. So I feel like it's probably good for you. So there's a lot to do with your own value systems, but also what do you value the most, right? And it feels like, because if you've got, obviously it feels like you've been going through a process already, a healing process and transformation process, releasing some, let's say, old patterns or limiting beliefs. So it's normal that it's normal at that time that sometimes you need to take a step back and reevaluate, and also ask yourself, so what do I want more, or what is it that I value better now or more than I used to in the past, right? And I probably feel like I will leave it with you for your interpretation, because it can be to do with money. Sometimes we don't, and how much you earn, right? And maybe you weren't valued in the past enough, and you maybe weren't paid the equivalent of what you felt you valued, right? Or you valued yourself. There are different ways of seeing this, but just thinking about this decision, remember also to think about your value system and what you value most at the moment. As I said, in the past position, you've got Eight of Michael, which is Eight of Swords. This card does tell me, and this actually comes also with the fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel, and the fifth chakra is a lot about communication and expressing your own truth. So this could also point out to communication with other people, right? And difficulties perhaps, because this is, as I said, this card usually is talking about you feeling restricted, constrained, perhaps even stuck in a situation or in a relationship. Yeah, or in a situation, for example, in your career, and not being able to move through some hurdles, some obstacles, or feeling very constricted, sometimes not even being able to see the way out, right? But because this is the past position, so I feel like it's already been going on in the past. As I said, for many of you, it feels like you have been going through an aspect of healing, an aspect of perhaps understanding what it is that is causing, like your blocks inside, because this card can also be internal blocks, right? And our internal, let's say, belief system, or our internal thought processes that can get stuck. We can get stuck because, and very often when we grow and evolve and do practices like meditation and healing, then we kind of encounter these blocks. And I think that we encounter them so that we can see better, we can release the past, right? And then we can kind of make a better decision for the future. I feel like Archangel Gabriel is saying that that's a lot to do with communication and also how you express yourself. I think that's probably all. Yeah. So whatever has been going on, perhaps it's also a good time to look at that, right? When the communication didn't work, or maybe where there needs to be maybe some readjustments made. I would say within you, I would say continue with your healing as well, or continue with your meditation work, but ask yourself what do I need to do to perhaps either change something within me so that there is a clearer path ahead, right? Clearer communication, so clearer speaking. So it's you communicating, but I feel like it's also other people, right? And this can be, like I've had some issues in the past, and it can be entanglement as well, because sometimes you don't know why people, for example, don't communicate to you as well. But while this may be a complicated process and different for obviously for each of you, I would suggest that Archangel Michael is saying just continue with also your internal process, right? Process of healing, process of clearing, meditation, and paying attention to your, I would say, to your thought processes and to your patterns, and continue to work with it. So hence you've got the Two of Michael, which is actually telling you perhaps definitely don't rush with any decisions. Just be, you can be in that space where you don't really need to move forward very quickly, right? And I hope it feels like you will, I feel like you will know what it means, and you will feel that you don't need to, or maybe even you can't because you are blocked. And I would suggest that this is just trust also that this is part of the process, right? Don't get nervous or frustrated about it. In the future position, which I always feel it like it's probably, as usually I feel like it comes sometime in January. It's probably towards the end now. I feel like it, like the end, towards the end of January. It's Seven of Gabriel, so this is Seven of Fire, and I have a feeling that this comes with a card of a man holding a heart in reversal. But just let's start with this card. It feels like you, maybe the indecision also is because you have to kind of learn how to stand up for yourself and how to defend your position. And you need to defend the position as if in front of this man. So this is a man holding a heart. I would say this is someone, he comes reversed. So it's not necessarily, it's not positive, but I would say that there is, if it's not positive, there's a lesson in it. But you probably need to defend yourself and your position kind of either in front of this man, or somehow it comes as against him. But I don't know, it just comes this way, against him, meaning that perhaps he may have been maybe even unconsciously trying to block you, or we do go through, like, for example, narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships, and sometimes people do different things that cause us to be blocked, right? And cause various aspects of indecisions or even kind of stuckness, right? Even in relationships. So you may not know even what this kind of guy wants from you. It is a soul, because it is a man holding a heart. I would say it's a close relationship. It could be a romantic partner or just a lover, right? Or someone that you've met in the past. It could be an ex-lover, ex-romantic partner. It could probably be also like if you were close, like for example, a boss and a manager, but it doesn't have to be, because it's more, I feel like with the heart is more like a family, like a closer relationship, personal, right? It comes also that it could also be a father or a father figure, or a pattern, like a father kind of healing. So like it's like a father wound perhaps, right? So a pattern coming from the past, and which is represented in someone that you, let's say, you are connected with, right? It could be romantically. It actually does come, but it could be also as a friend perhaps, or as someone who is close to you. So the Seven of Gabriel, I feel like you will have some opportunities, but you will also need to stand your ground, and you will need to defend your position, right? So perhaps maybe this may also relate to that. But I would still suggest don't rush with any decisions. It's probably, maybe there is an internal process that needs to go on. Maybe you need to be, let's say, stuck for some time. I know it's not pleasant. I've been there myself, but sometimes just trust the process, right? And then whenever it comes up, remember that you kind of need to find a way, find your strength, or you probably will be able to have the opportunity to defend your position. And then once the situation, let's say, is resolved, then you'll be able to maybe find some way out of the situation, or some way forward from that, right? And it actually may be, because, sorry, I'm just looking at you've got the outcome card, which is solutions, which is the traditional temperance. So it actually does tell me that you should be able to stand your ground and defend your position, perhaps by the end of January. It may be a little bit even later. Anything that comes up with the temperance, it's also telling me that this is like a subtle, for me it's very often the card that represents like a subtle balance, and also a healing process. So a lot of like inner workings in a process. So I would also say continue or do some practice, right? Like inner work, shadow work, or healing, so that you can actually understand yourself, and perhaps why this is arising, right? Perhaps in a relationship setting. And you do have, so the challenge position here, so probably it's actually interesting, because while you are a little bit stuck as your, let's say, center of your reading, the Two of Ariel, so this is Two of Pentacles, it's your challenge position. And that, so this is like a challenge. So that's basically how to balance. You're trying to balance something, right? So you're trying to juggle maybe too many things. You're trying to balance, and this is a material aspect because it's pentacles. So you're trying to, I don't know, maybe balance your money, or maybe you're trying to balance, I don't know, the way something is manifesting in your life, or I don't know, maybe the way you approach this person, perhaps, right? Yeah, you will know. So it can be many different things, but I feel like the challenge is just to balance something or find your own balance, and kind of bring the balance into, let's say, your, let's say, physical aspect of life, right? In any way, physical, material, whatever that is, maybe in your home, maybe in your career. And this is so, and while you're trying to find this balance, right? Because something is obviously causing you to be stuck, and you're trying to find this balance, which kind of can be also a process of like the healing that what I've mentioned to become the, maybe I would say, okay, let me just say it clearly. This card suggests that maybe you need to take a step back to reevaluate and take a perspective, right? Also with these cards and with the door to value, I felt that there is still the suggestion is that you need to continue with your healing work or inner work or shadow work. That's what's suggested, in order to find, let's say, your own solution. So in order to release something from within, so that you can release yourself from this, let's say, from this stuckness, from this being stuck position. And at the same time, like even in your physical realms, you may not be able, you're trying to find a balance, right? And I think this is just part of the process. I don't think that there is anything else. So don't be worried. I would say don't be worried if there isn't, like, if you don't have like a great balance in your, let's say, physical environment, or even if the money is not necessarily in the greatest place where you would want to be. I would say it's temporary, right? And don't worry about it, because again, as I said, it's a process, right? It's a process of coming out of some, let's say, stagnation and some let's say restrictive issues from the past. Here we've got two cards, Ten of Ariel, Ariel and Queen of Ariel, and this is your environment. And the environment, the Ten of Ariel, it just tells me that probably whatever you are going through, and the whole situation, so it just tells me that it's either in a family, it's an environment, it's either as an institution, it could be a business, so it could be your own business. It could also be a company that you work for or organization that you work for, but it could be any other, let's say, institution as well. So it does come, let's say, like a business, right? That it's like a bigger organization with people inside of them. But I feel like, but this is your environment, and I feel like there's a positive message here, the Queen of Ariel. So this is Queen of Pentacles. It's probably most likely a female. And she seems like she's a very grounded, and she's in that environment, but she's very willing to help you, and she's on your side as well, right? So perhaps if you're struggling with the balancing of some physical material aspects or anything else that you need to balance in your life, she's there to perhaps give you, I feel like she's there to advise you, she's happy and willing to give you advice. She seems trustworthy, and she seems very grounded and very practical, right? So I'm sure, and maybe that's why it comes up. It actually comes up as a business. So either you work, so either in a company or organization where you work for, or maybe it's your own business. Yeah, it's a business environment, right? So you will know, guys, how this applies to you. I don't want to just, yeah, make up too many things. And this is, and as I've already mentioned, this is your outcome card, which is solutions, but it is the Temperance. In the traditional tarot, here I feel guided also to tell you, so there's some solutions. So the outcome, as I said, is first of all, try to find some healing. So while you, let's say, you take a step back to observe and reevaluate, also continue with your practice, try to find some healing so that you can continue to, let's say, release those blockages from within. And also the solutions card obviously tells me also that there will be some solutions to come. So again, don't feel nervous, or don't be worried. There'll be solutions. There'll be maybe this woman, the Queen of Ariel, she may offer you something. So it may be something that will come. It may actually come, I feel like, maybe towards the end of January, and you probably don't see it because this is your present position. You probably don't see it now. So as I said, don't be worried and don't be too nervous. Something will come, and the solutions will come, probably from environment, or you will see it, or you will see it, I don't know, even on your computer, on the internet somewhere, but you will know what to do, right? And it will help you perhaps also with defending yourself, as I said, and with the Seven of Gabriel, and perhaps move slightly forward from this position. So this is how it comes. And you've gotten the advice card. You've got two cards as advice. One says be humble, and the other one says release control. And I would suggest, so I think be humble. Let me just speak. That's hopefully it's, I would suggest, so maybe that's why the observer card, don't go into, like recognize when there is ego, which can be, which may be speaking through you. So very often when, because I feel you may be, because I feel now you may be frustrated at some point because this does feel like a blockage or stuckness. So don't, I would say don't get kind of the ego, like take the best out of you, I would say, right? So don't allow the ego to be like the on the forefront, right? Don't allow yourself to go into the ego self, let's say, and then don't react with anger. Try to like be conscious. So probably the observer again, try to be conscious of yourself, right, as well, because it's not worth it. And the solutions and the temperance is telling you just continue. It's better to withdraw and do some healing, right, and do some balancing within yourself, and it will get better. So trust it, and trust probably, and have faith. That's why the humility is quite important, and release control. I feel like release control. So through your healing process, perhaps that's why you need to surrender a little bit. That's why the new perspective, right? Continue. It does feel like you need to release control. So whenever we heal and we're stepping through and rise to a higher vibration, we then, well, then we have to recognize when we have to release fear, for example, from within of us, because the fear is causing the need for control. It's usually, it's always like this, right? So, and this is, I feel it's also an advice for you to just make sure that you remember to release control from within yourself and release control of the situation. And I would say trust and have faith, let's say, in the higher power and in God, right? And the universe, that things are going to be fine. And they will be fine. Especially with the solutions card. That's a very positive card, and I usually like it. Let me, okay, so I think this is the January. And let me now take, yes, 2 cards for you, Virgos. For 20, wow, the cards are a bit jumpy, so maybe they do want to say. Let me just ask for Virgo for the whole, for the year 2023, please. I don't know if this is the one or not. Okay, gratitude, and let me take one more card. You've got 2 cards, letting go of urgency. And I'm going to take one more card from Archangel Michael. Okay, Archangel Michael for Virgo. Interesting, it kind of relates a little bit to the, so from this deck first, you've got actually, so you've got, let me just probably show you this one first. What am I doing? Letting go of urgency. That's actually some lessons to do with time and timing of things. It does say surrender, freedom from time constraints, right? So yeah, perhaps working with understanding, for example, the time aspect in your life. And maybe that's why I felt the frustration, because you may feel stuck and blocked, and probably for the most part of the, like in January. And doing your healing work, withdrawing, reevaluating rather than acting. I think this is the best advice perhaps that I would give you based on the cards. And this feels like a lesson, but it can actually go on through perhaps the whole year, that you will be learning of how you manage your own time. You may be learning the aspect of, let's say, timing and synchronicities, and also, yeah, so anything. And for example, why certain things come up in certain time, and why you, let's say, can't manage them, or you don't have control over it, right? So that's probably, there's also this issue of control with you, Virgos, which may be coming up through the year, I feel like, just to release control. But surrender, like I would say, surrender, do the practice, do meditation, do healing work, observe a little bit, and it will help you to let go of whatever is holding you back. But this comes actually also with the soulful appreciation, and that's a beautiful card. It says heartfelt gratitude. So I would suggest also that a gratitude practice and appreciation. Remember to appreciate and yourself as well, and the work that you've been doing. So have, let's say, gratitude for yourself. And I would say have gratitude for the divine, and let's say all the help that you have been receiving from the divine or from other people. So practice gratitude, and I think it's going to help you a lot with the managing time. And Archangel Michael is saying detach from the situation. So that's interesting, because it's actually a similar card. So you are opening the year with the observer card, right? And being a witness, taking a bit of a distance, right, so that you can see it from a little bit from like a perspective, right, from a maybe more objective. I mean, I don't think we can never be really like fully objective, but you can try to be a little bit more distant and see it from a different perspective. So Archangel Michael is just probably yeah, re-emphasizing, I would say, that detaching from a situation and doing any practice that helps you detach. He can also help you. So on this, there's a prayer, but he can, I feel like Archangel Michael is saying that he can help you, for example, release cords. You can work with Archangel Michael to ask him to cut the cords and release fear, for example, because fear very often causes the blockage and something that you want to, let's say, be in control of something, and sometimes you can't, right? So perhaps the whole year you may be learning some lessons and learning how you can detach more and release the control, so release fears also from within. All right, I think this is all I have for you, Virgos. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was useful. And please do hit the like button and the subscribe, or share it with your friends. I'll be very grateful for that. Yeah, and I hope to see you in my future videos. Take care. I'm sending you much love. Bye.